So Donald Trump has lost this war. America is weaker. Iran is stronger.
This is how Washington, D.C. loses wars. A sitting United States senator, paid by you, the taxpayer, his name's Chris Murphy. He's a lawyer baby. His dad was a corporate lawyer out of Connecticut. Just came out and told America that we lost the war, that the United States lost the war in Iran. Do you know how dangerous this is? Do you know what this does to the United States military, to military families, spouses, to people that have a service member deployed downrange? More importantly, the people on those ships, on those submarines, on those bases, they're going to get wind of this. There are men and women deployed over to Iran that are probably from Connecticut. And the sitting senator, Chris Murphy, just said to America, said to the world, the United States lost the war. Think about that for just a second. This is a Tokyo Rose, Hanoi Hilton, Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane moment right now. This is Benedict Arnold. I can't believe that I saw this on the news. I can't believe NBC actually allowed the guy to say it without pushing back at all. But we all know what happens. The United States military can win on the battlefield and always lose in Washington, D.C. We saw it in World War II. We saw it in Korea. We saw it in the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was never actually declared a war by Congress. We saw it during the first Gulf War. We saw it in the second Gulf War, Iraqi freedom, Kuwaiti liberation. And we're seeing it right now again. The United States military is owning the battlefield. Have there been casualties? Absolutely. But nowhere near the number of all those previous events that I said. Less people have died during this conflict than the Marine barracks that Iran was responsible for. Think about that. Less people have died in this conflict than the lives that were lost on the USS Cole. That should tell you something, Senator Chris Murphy. Now, I want to say this to the family members that have military downrange. Do not listen to this rhetoric. This is nothing more than a demoralization campaign, and it's becoming more and more common. Now, there's a couple of things that I would like to say. Number one, how do you define victory with the situation in Iran? For me personally, and this, I'd love to get your opinion on this. For me, I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. That is off the table. We have seen how erratic their leadership is. We don't even know who is their lead negotiator. So who would actually be in charge if Iran did have a nuclear weapon? Who would make the decisions? The IRGC making these decisions? I'm not sure about that, but that is the red line for me. The second thing is the Strait of Hormuz. I don't believe Iran should be able to control the world's most important waterway. The same people that I just mentioned that I don't want to have nuclear capabilities, I also don't want them to be able to choke out the world's economy. I don't think that's a lot to ask, Senator Chris Murphy. I'm dedicating this video to you. Now, the other thing I would like to talk about, and I'd like to get your feedback on, is Iran stronger right now? Are they weaker? I think we have, number one, weakened their economy. We have weakened their military capabilities. We have destroyed their navy. There's a lot of people that will say, well, you know, they're still able to do this. They're still able to do that. It's a huge country. Massive. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the helps of China, with Pakistan, with Turkey, with Yemen. We don't understand that, at least not publicly. I'm sure our military leaders and intelligence joint chiefs, they know what's going on. We've got satellite capabilities. We could probably read the license plates on their golf carts and read their name tags on their Camels. So that's one of the things that I really believe is important. Weakening them, weakening their economy. At the same time, we have weakened China's economy because they depend on oil from Iran. So those are two major, major events. Do you classify those as victories? That's up to you to decide. But I think there's multiple things happening. And, we all were told this was going to be a quick battle. Things change. Things on the battlefield change. Things in the Strait of Hormuz change. Things in the air change. Things on the ground change at these bases. Things change. You adapt, you overcome. That's what the military does. That's what they're trained to do. And the only thing that typically slows down the United States military are all the people that are now on a recess for 37 days. And that would be the Senate and also Congress and all of these other talking head political pundits. That's what loses battles. If it's just a straight up, let's get it on the battlefield, the United States military is unmatched. I would challenge any of you to tell me another country that has the military capability that we do. Last but not least, is America safer? I believe America is safer. The longer we delay Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, the longer we stay safe here at home. The other thing that I've noticed is we're starting to understand who is really working for America and who's actively working against it. Who's doing the legwork for the IRGC? And I'll give you two names. One's the news media, and number two are members of the Democrat Party. And now this splinter cell group with Tucker, MTG, and Thomas Massie. They would legitimately trade an Iranian victory for their advancement. I think I'm right with this. They would love to be able to say Trump's military lost, therefore I'm the better option. I really think that is something that they would take home to their voters. Hey, send me your money. Trump lost. Forget about all the Americans in the military that are over there laying their life on the line. Forget that. There's so many of these religion of peace people here running for office that they don't want to offend. Now, the one thing that bothered me the most watching that clip today with this Senator Chris Murphy was that I know he's not the only Democrat that is thinking this. He's not the only politician that thinks the United States lost this war. I don't think this has been a war. I think this has been controlled, targeted strikes, strategic strikes. That's what I think. Have we lost this? I don't believe so. Have we weakened their capabilities? Yeah. But what worries me more than the IRGC? What worries me more about the Iranian military is not over there. It's the people in our country right now that want to see America fail. And I think the Democrat Party would love to see the American military fail. I think they would take that. They would parade that around for years. It's very reminiscent of Vietnam, with those men that came home from Vietnam and women that were never told welcome home. It's starting to really feel like that. Now, the time frame isn't like that. It's not stretched out for that many years. I think it's maybe 11 years. Quote me if I'm wrong on that. But I believe that's what we're seeing. We're seeing politicians become pundits. We're seeing the news media become experts, military experts. The news media suddenly has the power to define military victory. And that's something we've never seen before. The judgment, the talking heads of the media determine who wins. That scares me. That scares me a lot. Because the last time I checked, the United States military doesn't work for the news media. And I don't know who the news media is working for. And I damn sure don't know who some of our politicians are working for. Thanks for watching. Little rant. I feel like I had to get that off my chest because it bothers me. As someone that spent a lot of time on a submarine, isolated, disconnected, not knowing what our politicians are thinking of us, now I see that side. And if there's any United States military members watching, I want to say this to you. I know you haven't lost anything. And the only way you ever lose is because the politicians in D.C. don't allow you to lose. When I hear every submarine in the United States Navy is out of Tomahawks, out of Mark 48 torpedoes, out of some other things, then I'll think that we're in a bad situation. Until then, America, you haven't seen shit yet. Stay strong.